Once, a young princess wandered alone into the woods, seeking solitude by a clear spring. In her hands, she tossed her most prized possession, a golden ball that caught the sunlight like captured fire. She threw it higher and higher, delighting in the game, until one careless toss sent it beyond her reach, then plunged into the spring and vanished into the dark water below. The princess peered into the depths, but the spring was bottomless. Her reflection stared back, distorted and helpless.
If only I could have it back, I'd give everything. My jewels, my dresses, everything I own.
A voice croaked from the water. She looked down and saw a fat green frog sitting on a lily pad.
Why do you weep, princess?
What could you do for me, you hideous creature? My ball is at the bottom of the spring.
I don't want your jewels. Let me live, eat, and sleep with you for 3 days, and I'll return your ball.
The princess barely suppressed a laugh. This ridiculous frog thought he could leave the water and follow her home.
Fine. Bring me my ball, and I'll do as you ask.
Moments later, he surfaced with the golden ball clenched in his wide mouth and tossed it onto the grass. The princess snatched it up, her face alight with joy. And without a word of thanks, she turned and ran toward the palace.
Wait! You promised!
But she didn't stop. She didn't even look back. The next evening, the princess sat at dinner with her father, the king. The hall was warm with candlelight and conversation. Then came a sound from the marble staircase. Something wet and clumsy was climbing the stairs. A knock at the door, soft but insistent. Then a voice.
Open the door, princess! You promised!
The princess froze, her fork halfway to her mouth. Her face went pale. She rose slowly, opened the door a crack, and there he was, the frog, sitting on the threshold, dripping and patient. She slammed the door and stumbled back to her seat, shaking. The frog knocked again.
What's wrong?
A frog fetched my ball, and I promised he could stay. I didn't think he'd come.
You made a promise. You will keep it. Open the door.
The king's expression hardened. The princess had no choice. She opened the door. The frog hopped inside. Tap, tap, plash, plash. His wet feet leaving marks across the polished floor.
Lift me up beside you.
She grimaced but obeyed.
Now push your plate closer.
She did. The frog ate from her golden plate, his tongue flicking out to catch morsels, his chewing wet and obscene. The princess could barely swallow her own food. When he was finished, the frog let out a satisfied croak. The princess's stomach turned.
I'm tired now. Carry me to your bed.
But her father's eyes were on her, stern and unyielding. She picked up the frog with 2 fingers, holding him at arm's length, and carried him upstairs to her chamber. She dropped him onto the pillow farthest from her own and climbed into bed, turning her back to him. All night she felt his presence, cold, damp, wrong. At dawn, the frog leapt from the bed and hopped out of the palace without a word. The princess sighed with relief. Perhaps that was the end of it. But when evening came again, she heard it once more. Tap, tap, plash, plash, the knock, the song. She opened the door. He hopped inside. He ate from her plate. He slept on her pillow. And in the morning, he left again. On the 3rd night, the ritual repeated. The frog returned, sang his song, ate his meal, and made his way to her bed. But this time, as the princess lay in the darkness, staring at the ceiling, exhaustion and resignation settled over her like a heavy cloak. She had kept her word. 3 nights. Surely this would be the last. She closed her eyes and finally slept. When she woke the next morning, sunlight streamed through the window. She turned toward the pillow where the frog had been and gasped. A young man stood at the foot of her bed. He was tall, with dark hair and eyes like deep forest pools. His clothes were fine, princely, and he gazed at her with an expression of profound relief and gratitude.
Who are you? How did you get in here?
I am the frog you took from the spring.
He told her his story. Years ago, a spiteful fairy had cursed him, transforming him into a frog. The curse could only be broken if a princess allowed him into her home, let him eat from her plate, and sleep in her bed for 3 nights.
You kept your promise when it cost you everything. Because of that, I am free.
Come with me to my father's kingdom. Be my wife. I will love you for as long as I live.
She looked into his eyes, the same eyes that had gazed up at her from the water, bulging and strange, now warm and human.
Yes.
And she smiled. At that moment, the sound of hooves and wheels echoed outside. The princess rushed to the window and saw a magnificent coach drawn by 8 white horses, their harnesses gleaming with gold, plumes of feathers adorning their heads. Behind the coach rode a man in fine livery, his face wet with tears.
That is Heinrich. My curse broke his heart, so he bound it with iron. Now I am free, and they can be removed.
The prince took the princess's hand, and together they descended the palace steps. The king gave his blessing, and they climbed into the coach. As they rode toward the prince's kingdom, a loud crack echoed through the air.
What was that?
Heinrich's heart. The first iron band has broken.
2 more cracks followed, sharp and final. Heinrich rode behind them, weeping openly now, not from pain, but from pure, unburdened joy. The prince and princess reached his kingdom and were married in a grand ceremony. They ruled together with wisdom and kindness, and for many years they lived in happiness. And the princess never forgot the lesson she had learned by the spring, that a promise, once given, must be kept, no matter how inconvenient, no matter how unpleasant. For sometimes, the most unexpected bargains yield the greatest rewards. And sometimes, the things we find most repulsive are simply waiting for us to see them clearly.